So most of the Indian is asking one question: what is happening in India-Pakistan border? So last 48 hours, we have actually witnessed twice airspace violation by around 15 to 20 unarmed drones from Pakistan side. Last 48 hours, and those incursion being dry incursion. When I say dry incursion, no explosive was found. It was just for ISR. I will come to that. What is the reason? But this is what has happened, right? Last 48 hours, twice from Samba sector, Rajouri sector, Poonch sector across LOC and international border, we have witnessed around twice the airspace incursion by unarmed drones of Pakistan, and it is across 1200 kilometers, approximately 1200 kilometers, and it encompasses around 15 to 20 drones. Now, the question comes like, will there be a war or conflict again or Operation Sindhu 2.0? No. The reason I will explain why these things are going on and the bigger picture, because most of the media, whatever I tell, you will not find in media, because I tell or I provide my information based on the intelligence, right? Whatever RAW is seeing, or whatever CI is seeing, and the intelligence domain is saying or witnessing, I also witness those data. So it's better to kind of provide with some degree of information to people so that they are well informed. Now, what is this reason? Why this is happening? It is not because that Pakistan want a conflict again. I'm coming to the reason, different reason. But let me tell you that this is part of a larger hybrid war being fought between India and Pakistan post Operation Sindhu. And it is, in military term, it is called strategic signaling, right? India is also playing that strategy, and also Pakistan is also playing that strategy. And now question comes like, is it a war or conflict? What is that? Now, this, as a geopolitics expert or military expert, we generally call it as a sub-conflict warfare, below the threshold of a conflict, right? Conflict is when we go into the Operation Sindhu type of, where there's a conventional attack, military attack, right? So that's what we call it conflict. But this is called sub-conflict warfare, which is below the threshold of a conflict and part of a hybrid warfare. So this is one type of war where no ammunition is actually played. So now, what those drones are? Why those drones are being sent? Right, those are unarmed drones, and what are those drones? Those drones are actually sent by Pakistan for different reasons. I'm coming one by one. The first reason is ISR. ISR means intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance mission, where ISI and Pak agent military tries to map Indian army for where the forward bases are there, right? What changes have been made post Sindhu? Is there any change, material change that happened post last 5 or 6 months? Track troop movement and new bunkers. So they will map those bunkers also and identify gaps in border fencing and patrol timing so that they can infiltrate terrorists. So that's number one. Number two is test the gaps in air defense, right? Indian air defense. Like for example, those drones will fly in different altitude and radiate signal and also catch radiation. Like say for example, our radars, any kind of radars, like long range radars, or maybe the SAM radars, surface to air missile radars, or say S-400 radars are emitting any kind of radiation, and they will just catch those location or send those data to forward base in Pakistan so that they can triangulate the location. They will also try to understand that where are the gaps, air gaps, through which they can send missile or any kind of thing. So that blind spot for the air defense system. So they are trying to get the blind spot of Indian air defense system so that they can leverage it later, right? Apart from this ISR, they are also trying to understand how we react for those drone or against drones, right? Are we activating any counter UAV system, just like any kind of long range ASR radar? which is called active electronic scan area radars, or any kind of battlefield surveillance radars, or any kind of high-powered multi-layer air defense system or arrays. Uh, we have also deployed multiple counter UAV systems, like for example D4 anti-drone system, which was extensively used in Operation Sindoor, right? So that was one. Then we have a Saksham counter drone grid, so that was again a new thing that was deployed post Operation Sindoor. Then we have a man portable counter drone unit that is also being deployed after Operation Sindoor, and also there's Indrajal Dome, which is a jamming devices for drone. These are all non-kinetic devices or non-kinetic counter UAV devices, right? So they are trying to understand what is our pattern of uh, pattern to neutralize that threat, those drones, and they want to study. And based on that, they will try to create the doctrines, right? Or they will try to create the strategy. What India did absolutely correct. They have not uh, activated any counter UAV system or any radar. So our S-400 SAM, like Akash SAM, Akash Tir, were actually on standby, and it was the surveillance was done by a very long range radar, which obviously early warning kind of radar. So it doesn't have any kind of utility, which is far from the border, right? So that radar actually tried to triangulate the location um, of those drones and inform the CRPF as well as the military, and they have used medium machine guns, the MMGs, to kind of counter those. And those drones were again some few failed and some went back to Pakistan. So that's what has happened now. Whether what is the bigger picture apart from this, is there anything which they try want to do? Obviously yes, there are a lot of things they want to do apart from that piece of thing. One is obviously to tell the sleeper cell in Kashmir, Indian side of Kashmir, that we are there with you and we are sending something, so that you will be motivated. So it is a signal to also the sleeper cell in India, in Jammu and Kashmir, so that to tell them we are there with you, and obviously that means some signaling for them also. But but this is what you will read in any newspaper or in media. But what will not come to you is the real reason, the real core reason why they are doing that, right? So I will give you the key information, right? There has been couple of fraction in Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, and one faction of Lashkar-e-Taiba is aligned with ISI, and one faction is not aligned with ISI. A report has been submitted by RAW day before yesterday with central government, but they have not. I mean, that information didn't came, but I will tell you the information. There's one person, one leader in Lashkar-e-Taiba called Saifullah Kasuri. He's a deputy operational leader, and there is another leader called Amir Hamza. These two are has become a faction, like one leading another one faction, and Amir Hamza leading another faction. So Saifullah Kasuri is pro ISI, and Amir Hamza has become slightly it's like not, I will say not anti ISI, but they have some differences. And a person who is kind of bridging this gap is Sahid Mohammed, senior leader and organization, uh, something called there in Sahid Mohammed is a person, or Mehmood. Sahid Mehmood is a person who is trying to iron out those issues between these two fractions. But there's a lot of fraction, and the reason for fraction is funding from Saudis and Qatar is not being leveraged properly because of FATF sanction and World and IMF oversight. The funding from Saudis and Qatars are not being properly utilized for Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. This is one bone of contention. Slow pace of infiltration because of absolutely airtight check from Indian side. They were unable to infiltrate Fidayins and the terrorists to Indian side of the border the way they thought, right? The way they trained. And third one is the ISI has not given significant leverage to Jaish-e-Mohammed, sorry, Lashkar-e-Taiba in Bangladesh. So Bangladesh is clearly being front-ended by Jamaat-e-Islam, ISI, and there is some portion of ISIS. But Lashkar-e-Taiba has not been given any space in a significant space in Bangladesh before the election. So they are not aligned with USA. They are not aligned with ISI, and that's why they are trying to create problem. And Pakistan is trying to send these drones against India or towards India to signal these fraction groups, to calm these fraction groups. See, we are doing something what you want, that we want, we are sending drones and we are doing all this surveillance and other things, and to make them calm, right? So that's what the real reason is. And obviously the surveillance and other things are also important, but these are the main thing which probably are one of the another important thing is that they have installed multiple air defense system, and because they have lost air defense system, they have lost air defense system from China, Turkey, and US. They have got some air defense system from China and one from Turkey, and they are trying to install those. And while installing, they need some calibration or configuration of those air defense system, and for that they need some data points, and those data, recent data points, right? The current data points of India, where the where the blind spots are there, and that's why that triangulation data of those drones are very important, right? So these are, in a nutshell, more or less critical points. But obviously, you have seen the strategic signaling when our CDS started, when actually Pakistan started with JF-17 is getting sold and all those things, and China has actually broke peace deal and not US, and those kind of strategic signaling has been done by Pakistan, and then CDS actually told that we can do anything any day if government tells us to do. We can go for Operation Sindoor 2.0. Then again there's some communication narrative being said by Pakistan foreign minister. Again, our army chief yesterday did said that they in Operation 1.0 they have lost whatever, like there are a lot of things they have lost. So these are called strategic signaling, and Pakistan is forced to retaliate in a hybrid warfare through drone, right? That's what we can they can do. The next level of escalation is obviously shelling or ceasefire violation. Obviously, that will go into a conflict. So that's why they are trying to play in a sub-conflict level. They don't want to go to that shelling level. That will be a violation of ceasefire, and that will be amounting for any kind of conflict. Hope I can explain you the current situation in the border so that you get the right picture without any historical information. Thanks for watching.